Welcome to the Game Momentum podcast. We have another great episode here where I'm blessed by having the co-founders of Myma.ai, Andy, Dharmani, and David Thompson. How are you both doing? Andy, how are you doing?
Doing great, Adam. Nice weather outside. I'm happy. I'm joining from Nashville, Tennessee.
Stole the words right out of my mouth. And David, how are you?
Yeah, g'day, mate. All good from Australia, New Zealand, mate. So that's where
Right.
I am today and from. Yeah,
So I should have said, how you going? And you reckon
yeah,
it's going to be a good Saturday?
yeah. It's going to be a great Saturday. So rugby this time of world, not the football. So, but you guys are leading into the World Cup, so that's going to be interesting. So for soccer, so this hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, maybe at the end we can drill into the differences between rugby league and rugby union and really get into it. But
You are very educated.
yeah, well, no, people forget that I'm actually a dual citizen, Canada, Australia. So,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm kind of a hidden delight that way. But the focus today is technology and all the amazing things that you're doing with Myma.ai. So, um, Andy, if you could start off, give us a elevator pitch for Myma.ai in terms of where you fit into this ever crazy world of hotel technology.
Yeah, Adam. We've been at hotel technology and specifically AI in hospitality for the last kind of 6 to 7 years. And as we all know, right, AI and technology has evolved a lot in last few years. So we have evolved with it. And today where we fit, basically, we are AI communication platforms for hospitality. So basically, anything to do with communication, we automate that for hospitality. We try to provide a great experience that guests expect from it, as well as help hotels increase their revenue by not missing any opportunity. So if guest has a question, which they have always, before stay, in stay, post stay, we are there to take their question 24/7, multiple languages, and make sure we are always on brand, on revenue for the hotel, and we don't let hotel miss any opportunity.
And what I'm seeing now is in terms of missed opportunities, there's, of course, so many different channels that the guests are coming in to communicate with hotels. There's the tracking of the conversations, and there's also the response time, because guests these days have the attention spans of canaries. Let's just say what it is. So within that, those are three incredible challenges to diagnose, on top of the fact that labor costs are rising and we can't just throw bodies at this problem anymore. We need to solve it through automation and now AI driven automation. So, David, over to you. I've addressed three main problems, labor, time, everything in between. How does Myma really get down to helping tackle these challenges to increase guest service, deliver it faster, and also save teams time?
Oof, that's a great question, and not in order as well, Adam. So you're throwing a curveball, but I love it. Basically, first of all, what makes Myma a little bit different? It's actually my background. I'm 30 years in hospitality, like yourself, and fallen into technology. So I was one of the anti-smart GMs on the other side saying no to technology. I'm probably one of the handbrakes. And now I'm on the dark side pushing technology. But your question's really interesting, Adam. And I think part of how we're helping is opening up where the business and opportunities are now coming from in the digital landscape. I've got a hotel in the Philippines that gets 90% of its business from Facebook.
Wow.
Not its her webpage, not from an OTA, but how do they work in Facebook? And this is where our product, our communication tools, our integrations help with that and drive revenue there. I've got another hotel in Bali, Instagram. We pay all these bloggers to blog, but how do we measure the ROI? How do we know the bloggers are actually driving business to your webpage? With the back end of what Andy has built, because I said this is one of the problems. Hotel owners and GMs want to know what bloggers build. We're able to track the URLs. We're able to from where it's come from. We can see IP addresses. We can see all these things. So, really interesting where we're going here, Adam. Sort of what we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you brought in ROI and attribution towards that ROI because, being on the other side where I've sat in the room with GMs and owners to make these decisions, and of course, they're getting lots of vendors trying to sell to them, but they're always asking, well, where's the ROI? How do we measure this? How do we track it? Because they're obviously beholden to show directly to a P&L how that works. So I'm wondering, Andy, back to you. What attribution tools are you building into your omnichannel communication platform in order to really drill down and allow hotels to see that attribution and also thereby deliver insights about which channels are growing and how best to reach guests?
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. I think you're right on the spot there, right? Like this technology, when we started a while back, it was kind of new technology, but now the expectation is that every single thing is attributed, where traffic is coming from, where it is going, at what point customer makes a decision to buy, which channel they prefer. So that is one of the key differentiators for us, and I'm sure that is focus of many technologies these days, right? Is insights. So we provide insights into, we track each customer, which page on the website they started, or they started their journey from Instagram, right? That's where they started the journey. And then eventually all of this leads to making a booking or them dropping out. So we actually record all of that. If it is voice call, we record voice call. And then the one big challenge, right? Everybody has. There are so many phone calls that come in. There are so many emails that come into a hotel to different departments. It might be for a wedding inquiry. It might be for a conference inquiry, or might be for a room booking or cancellation modification. So there are so many questions coming in and so many inquiries from different channels. So what we do, actually, one part of AI is doing a best conversation, but the second part of it is actually going through these hundreds and thousands of calls and messages and converting it into a one-page dashboard. So for a general manager, they can see, okay, my 20% of queries this month have been coming from Instagram, and that is my next channel to focus on. Or, my 10% of the calls have been modifications or cancellations, and compared to last month, it is only 5%. They can measure sentiment of the calls. Okay, so, it's neutral. Customers are more happy, or 90%, 80%. So we give an insight which they never had before. A call is made, nobody knows what that call is for, but now they know. They know why customers are calling, they know what they have in mind, and they can do something about it. So absolutely. So insights, end-to-end attribution is like extremely important.
Adam, I'll give you an example here of the data insights we're giving to owners or to GMs. A hotel in Australia about 3 or 4 years ago using our product, that Holy Grail, Adam, 12, 13 room types. It's only a 100-room hotel. Why have you got so many room types? Anyway, he was one of the first movers, make himself pet friendly in Australia. That's a new thing relative post-COVID. Not like America, where I've seen the big Alsatians in your hotel rooms, which is quite amazing. And he saw the data coming in, the requests for pet-friendly rooms. It was his second most asked room type.
So, David, to go back to one specific point here, we've talked about the ROI, and oftentimes the ROI, the way I've talked about it with senior decision makers is that it's seconds saved compounds into hours gained. And that is the core of a lot of the automations for omni-channel platforms. So I'm wondering if you could unpack some of the automation and generative AI tools that have really helped hotels to improve their communications and their service.
Probably one of the best questions I've been asked for a long time, Adam. And the reason I say that is why I started this company. 7 years ago, I was running hotels for the largest hotel New Zealand owner, had some hotels in America, just come back from being his asset manager. And he asked me about AI 7 years ago, and AI was nothing in hospitality. And I looked into it. There wasn't anything great. I looked at other industries, and that's normally how evolution happens. You look at how something else is happening in another industry and you bring it to your industry. I looked at the banking and finance industry. There's a great chatbot in New Zealand on a bank and I tracked down the guy that built it. I got him into my office. I said, we're a hotel company. We want a great digital experience for a chatbot. Can you do A, B, C, and D? Answer the question, multiple languages, lead to making a booking. And he said, yep, no problems. He built it in 6 weeks, came back, did a presentation. Within 3 minutes of me seeing this, I went, wow, if we put this on a web page, we're going to reduce phone calls coming in, free up the receptionist so they can look the customer in the face while they're checking in and not be interrupted. I saw that as the holy grail 6 years ago. And that's the holy grail moves every 3 months with us with AI. And then from what that led from, we started as a chatbot company, we've led into a platform, and every other tool we've got now saves time. So we have an email reader because hotels are getting nailed by thousands of emails from booking.com or Expedia. Please confirm this question, that question. So our email reader reads the email, comes in, generates the reply, doesn't send it because we still want humans to press that send button, but we make them read it and then so it's generated. So you're typing out an email within a minute and a half. It's done it in 3 seconds. So add that up over 100 emails a day. We're saving 2 to 3 hours of productivity there. We can also automatically send that email over time if the hotel is comfortable with the AI's response. We've then moved into AI voice. AI voice, I think, is the new holy grail of the data we get from that. Imagine every single phone call a day is recorded, can be analyzed by the AI. So you get 120 phone calls, of which 10 might be only for reservations. You think your team of 6 or 7 reservationists is doing reservation calls? No, they're actually fielding questions about the hotel. Then it goes into a reservation. So we're saving time there again, Adam. We've then got another product, guest messaging, which we're going to launch soon, which Andy might talk about, is coming out. And that's the true automation of guests being sent a text message on the preferred platform they like. It might be via text, might be email. An outbound message arrives, you're arriving in 2 days' time. Any questions? And the question the customer says, oh, we need an extra blanket or an extra pillow in the room. That then goes back to our platform and into the task management system of the hotel and is done. So, yeah, so your eyebrows go up on that one. So we've always got innovation coming. So that is why we built this company, was to save time for staff, to give better customer service. And that old saying, Adam, if you solve a problem, your company's going to be successful. That's why we're still kicking and going 6 years later, 7 years later. We launched our company, by the way, 6 weeks before COVID. Wow. And me and Andy got locked in New Zealand for 2 years, so we couldn't get out. So we spent a lot of time thinking, having beers on how we build a robust product that's going to change the hospitality industry.
Well, to drill out one feature there and to go back to Andy, the whole idea of integrating to a task management system with any sort of intelligence or agentic workflows, which seems to be the buzz term for the day. Could you unpack how you've made that happen from a development standpoint? And I say this, the context there is, it's very easy for me to say that and say, oh, wouldn't it be great if a guest mentions this in a text string, and then it's automatically pushed through to housekeeping or to a runner or to a restaurant. But having that semantic interpretation and the connection, the integrations, is mountains of work for a dev team to do. How have you made that happen?
No, that's a great one, Adam. Yes. So I think the expectations from hoteliers as well is not just answering the questions, but doing something about it, right? So when we started, or when anybody started, if somebody says, what is the check-in time? I can tell them what is the check-in time. They say, what is the best room for family of 4? We can answer that question. Next question they're going to ask is, is the room available? Now, to answer that question, we need to go to CRS and get, or PMS, wherever the rate and availability is, and bring that back, right? To answer your question, like runner, if customer is in the hotel room, and the other thing is, it could be any channel, right? They could type that question or pick up phone and ask I want fresh towels delivered. So you need to understand that intent. And then, yes, so we like to say, AI is the brain, but you need hands to do the work. So, and to automate that, integrations is very important. So I think as a whole industry, like in last 6-7 years, one thing we have seen changing, maybe it was forced or it has definitely changed, is a lot of these systems do expose and open APIs for third parties to plug in. So yes, so integrations are key. We continue to build these integrations and the contextual layer, because it's easy to fill a form. We know what is the check-in date in a particular format, but customer does not say that. Customer says, do you have room available this Sunday for 2 nights? And we don't want to ask, oh, this Sunday is this date. So we pick those things up. We know we need number of adults. So we just ask that question, fire the API, tell them back with the least latency possible. So there are many technical challenges on the way. You can't have latency. APIs take time. Understanding, interpreting context take time. Going a little bit technical, we all know about ChatGPT, OpenAIs. How fast they are growing. You cannot expect a consistent and or timely response from those APIs anymore. It can be a second, 2 seconds is a lot of time to get a response back. So building layers, like if we don't get a response within milliseconds from one AI platform, we're going to go to second. So it's multi-layered approach to have a robust system really that you can put in front of the customers. The expectations are very high, both from hotels as well as their guests, because they had some great experiences with AI now. So yeah, we have spent a lot of time integrating with lots of hotel platforms. And I just add one last thing to that, Adam, too. Like if I say a hotel, this thing gonna take 6 months because you have 5 systems. It's just too long and too expensive. So we invest a lot in these integrations, testing them, integrating with our tools so that they can click few buttons and get it up and running. So yeah, one of the very important things is actually having hands with the brain.
Yeah, Andy said a great thing, expectations. I spent the last 5.5, 6 years educating the hospitality industry on what AI is and the opportunity. In the last 6 months, everyone's an AI expert. They go to ChatGPT. I've done demonstrations where the general managers ask me a technical question on what coding and ML, blah, 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 are you using in your platform. I actually outed him on the call and said, you've just gone to ChatGPT. I said, you're a general manager of a hotel. You're not a computer person. And I said, why are you asking me these questions? This is what the product can do. But where I'm going with this conversation, Adam, is that everyone's become an expert. And what I tell everyone, in the last 20 years, name one booking engine that can cancel a booking. There isn't. Because I'm getting asked now, can AI make reservations in the PMS? Can they change dates? Can they do it, replace a human and cancel booking? And the answer is not at the moment, maybe in 18 months' time, 2 years. And then I say this, in 2 years, 2 years' time in AI, the equivalent is, and as a saying now, AI years. So it took Facebook 20 years to get to 700 million users. It took ChatGPT 3 years. So 1 year is equivalent to 7. So in 2 years, so AI is moving, and I would say in 2 years' time or a year's time in AI years, it'll be able the ability to make cancellations because all the PMSs, all the players have opened the APIs up. We're all playing together, but all it takes is one player not to in the ecosystem not to play, and it can't be done. Like the payment gateway or the PMS or something. How do do you want a reservation made with no guarantee of a credit card? Do we want to go back to those days of the OTAs or putting bookings into your PMS and they weren't guaranteed?
Yeah, before virtual credit cards and all the all the authorization protocols and all that. Yeah, fun times.
I tell owners and all this, okay, payments can be done. There was actually a test done by MasterCard in New Zealand from end to end. The AI agent actually charged a credit card without any human involved. Wow, that's amazing. Taking the money, but what about refunding it? Are you comfortable with an AI robot going to your hotel bank account and just taking out $500? It's like, whoa, okay, we don't think of that side of the problem. Yeah, taking the money is easy, but what about refunding it and the legislation there? So I'm all for the Wild West of AI, but we're getting to a point now, actually, we might need some real hard guardrails. And payments is one I'm sort of advocating for. So
yeah, I mean, the guardrails, as it relates to payments and the refunds or cancellations, the chain of custody problem is the part of the reason why the LLMs, Claude, ChatGPT, have sort of backed away from doing bookings and have sort of stayed within their lane as being discovery and planning tools with link outs, right, to the OTAs or to direct. And part of where Myma, I guess, fits in is saying, well, we know people are using these tools, but it's our job, no matter where the guest is coming from, to do the best job to demonstrate service and to ensure that their stay is as great as possible. And then as well, scrape data along the way so that way we can improve the product, do more channel shift, as Andy said earlier, all those fun stuffs that come from really driving that point home of communications as commercialization. David, I wanted to add one more cherry on top to all this, going back to what you said that you're 30 years in the industry and you're originally on the hotel ops side. And this sort of speaks to one of the other issues behind that time saving is the savings of emotional strain or mental energy, because every time you have to write an email, it's not only time, but it's mental stress. So the tool you mentioned where it can write the emails for you, but still keep a human in the loop. So that way they can, review and then click send or make modifications and then click send. That is not only time save, but that's mental energy save. So that way that same person can be more frontline and even better with their guests. So can you name any other tools that can help in this way with regards to saving emotional toll of hospitality to thereby allow our frontline teams to be even better when guest facing?
So Andy's Mr. AI. He's across all sort of techie stuff. So I'm thinking AI voice is a big one. It's just relieving that pressure of your reservation is considered lights flashing up. There's 5 people on hold. That's a mental saving. Wow. Just relief there. Actually, what makes our platform unique, I mean, not unique, others can do it, is you can turn it on and off. So like, you've got maximum staff between 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you don't need the AI going there, or it can just take overflow when calls are at 10, 10 rings. But when there's no staff, it answers it straight away. So if you had a staff member call in sick tomorrow, sweet. Actually, we've got a client, energy industry, using our product for call center, big player in New Zealand, and if they haven't replaced anyone in a call center. At first, they thought, okay, we can save 10, 15%, make them redundant. They actually haven't, because then the call center people have been able to then get on top of the actual issue problems that are coming and do their job of customer service, not answer the calls, then pick up the stuff. And then the AI is smart enough, it puts it through. And that's how we're doing voice at the moment, that we're saying, you're not going to replace your reservations team. We're going to filter the calls out, all the noise that happened beforehand, and put the revenue generating calls through.
Right. So, I mean, from what you're saying about it isn't necessarily time saved in a lot of cases, but the automation will then be reflected in terms of increased customer satisfaction or even NPS for a hotel.
You understand Australian and my rubbish. Good translation, Adam. Yeah, thank you.
I will add also employee satisfaction and their score, right? Like you said, just take an example of email and take it a bit further. So how you reply to an email from a hotel, you need to stay on brand's voice, right? Especially emails will come from all over the countries in different languages. Imagine the stress a trainer has to go through to make sure we actually do hear this from hotels, like writing every time on brand is not easy. And now they're telling, okay, take help from ChatGPT to write your email. But ChatGPT gonna talk about anything. If it is a restaurant, it's gonna say, okay, these are the best Italian restaurant. It's not focused on your own restaurant. So when we write an email, for a trainer, marketing per people, all of their inputs are gathered at one place. And email is always on brand in the same language that it came in through. It is trained on your own data. So it's not answering a standard question. And it is also integrated into your system. So, if an email is, do you have rooms available? The response will be, yes, rooms are available. These are the rates. If you add these dining offers and parking, this is the best offer for you. And all of this will be written in the brand tone that you need. So imagine how much stress that has reduced for a marketing person who wants every email to be on brand, for a revenue manager who wants these offers to be always promoted, and for a person who is trying to, write an email and make sure, my English or French or whatever I'm trying to reply to is accurate. So saves a lot of time. We call it human in the loop to make sure everything is right, but everything is done for you as everybody in the organization wants it to be. So saves a lot of stress.
Yeah, really interesting, Adam, on wellness. And I heard you speak in Singapore a couple of months ago. Really fascinating. Your keynote speaker on, and as an industry and a market segment, I don't think hoteliers realize it is massive, and it's upon us now. And I think it's worth just talking about that for a quick 10 minutes. And why I say that there's method to my madness, because AI does tap into how does AI work with people who are 85 years old, 80, the older aging generation. At first, people thought technology, they're the last ones to use it. They're some of our best users, believe it or not, because they ask indicative questions, they ask detailed stuff. And you had a word for this population, or I forgot what it was.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit derogatory, but it's the silver tsunami because
Yeah, that's right. The silver tsunami.
yeah. So the whole idea is silver, graying hair, and a tsunami
I've got
being being that we're on the cusp of a great lifespan and health span extension with the combination of medical advances and the democratization of those medical advances, things like peptides, more adoption of supplements, and just people living a wellness based lifestyle, gym, staying active, getting back to eating whole foods, smoking less, drinking less, etc. And not to steal your thunder in this, but to tie it back to communications is just because people are getting older, they may still have some, creeping in disabilities, right? Like macular degeneration comes in, joint problems, they can't move around as well, things where they want to keep traveling, they want to experience the world, they have the money to experience the world, but they have concerns about the hotel. And now with AI, they have the tools to ask very detailed questions, as you said, about the hotel. And now that is on you guys like Myma to create a platform that can really help assuage these fears and give peace of mind to this really powerful group of travelers.
Yeah, I think it's silver tsunami, mate. I think it's a big thing we need to adapt and change. And even to build a hotel, it's like a simple question. Traditionally, hotel doors open in or out. They need to be sliding doors now, so robots can actually come in. They don't, because a robot can't actually open a door. And we see it in the chat. Will a wheelchair get into the car park? Or people are asking about that. Or is your bed only 30 inches off the ground? And we don't understand why. That they've actually got a prosthetic leg that they need to actually put it on. And it's quite fascinating, the data we see. And then if we show that on our webpage, and we've got one hotel that started putting pictures of their disabled room or the ADA room on their webpage and made it their hero photo, they charge that as a premium, and people are prepared to pay for it. So again, data is king. Understanding your customers and an omnichannel like Myma and other platforms, and we've got some great competition out there doing it, and we love our competition because it makes us run faster. We're the fastest AI guys in hospitality, so we're the smallest, but we're the fastest, nimble and fast. So yeah.
And Adam, sorry, just gonna add one thing to it. Like, images is a huge thing, right? Showing the right image at the right time. So if a customer is asking a question on accessibility, anything related to that, we not only produce text, we also search through all the images and show the most relevant image. So customer is also seeing the answer, and they are also seeing the images which are very appropriate for that question. So which gives them confidence to make a booking. And second part of this is also proactiveness. We did speak about guest messaging. So we do actively reach out to customers as well, like 3 days before they are arriving, which is quite important, right? Based on what channel is important to them, like WhatsApp, wherever they are comfortable, to say, hey, you are checking in. If you have any specific needs, let us know. And then those needs are fed into the PMS system, housekeeping, all the systems, so that things are ready. So a lot of layers to it, which help a person make a booking with confidence, as well as feel that all their needs are covered when they reach.
Yeah. I mean, I love that phrase, booking with confidence, because that's the main thing is because you're tapping into direct bookings, you can control that information and really give people the detailed answers they may not be able to get through a third party. As well, data is the new oil. Are you seeing it whereby an increased amount of questions related to disabilities could infer operational improvements, either changing doors to be sliding, improving ramps, or even configuring rooms?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And we actually thank America, like the ADA Association, for piloting and putting their head above the parrot line and making a lot of noise the last 20 years, because it's actually going to help the silver fox generation adapt to it, because hotels know that a certain percent of the inventory need to be ADA compliant or disability in Australia compliant. I see that growing, to be honest. And yeah, there's going to be more requirement for it. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's all based on the data, the questions people are asking, and then associating those answers with that intelligence layer.
And I think it's like seeing is believing. My receptionist says we've got a lot of people asking about wheelchairs. Yeah, sure. Hona thinks that, well, that's money. But when you actually see the data, a real conversation that's been in text script, whether it's got timestamp on it, it's not lying. It's your customers are asking for it. So, and
Wow.
also hotels are putting AI into their P&L lines. General managers are asking. They start sweating. David, where's the Myma report? We need it for the owner's report. It's like, okay, fine.
Wow.
yeah. So to just because the owner wants to know, well, what's chatbot finding out about our business? What's everyone asking about us? So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it has, as we've discussed, repercussions on booking confidence, straight through to how to find more guests, through to operational improvements to keep your CSAT scores high and everything else.
Yeah.
So besides the growing need for appealing to people of advanced age that have specific concerns, have you picked up any other emerging segments just via what people are asking and the conversations that are happening through the data that's flowing on your system?
Not segments, channels. I reckon, I know this is a controversial one, TikTok. I still haven't got my head around it because I don't use it.
Yeah.
But my daughter, so funny story. I own an AI company, a chatbot company. My two daughters, 19, 17, but they were 13 and 12, 6 years ago, not interested in this company. 3 years into owning it, my daughter comes to me, Dad, TikTok's doing this, this, and this. And I got a chatbot. Is that what you do? She finally got it, because TikTok chatbot company. So, but that generation, that's how they communicate, with short 10-second videos. And I don't know. Again, that's a new opportunity for marketing for hotels. Somehow we got to get into that. So, yeah, the disabled market, I think, is a big market. The aging population's a big one. Health, like what you said. We've sort of seen it up and down with retreats over the years. There's some early health resorts that specialise, but I can see that coming back around. Medical, again, yeah, I think that's going to grow with this medical tourism, but it's going to become really apparent. So, yeah. But Andy, what do you see anything sort of you've come from?
Yeah, I think it's definitely gives a lot of data to, like, related to events. If it is event related questions coming up, we can tell them in advance, and our reports do show, okay, this has changed. So they don't need to be looking; they get a notification that you need to. There are a lot of event questions. So are you ready for this? So yes, a lot of insights based on what's happening. There's a fire in California, and you suddenly start seeing 95% of questions are around death. So straight thing is, have you even communicated to the guests of this impact? So everybody's asking, am I booking in 6 weeks, 4 weeks, tomorrow, or next week? What's happening? So a lot of operational efficiencies with this. And Adam, channel is very important, right? Like with all the ages. Like TikTok is important probably for a 22-year-old, but 85-year-old who is used to SMS or phoning, they do not download TikTok or even go to a website. So supporting this, all these channels also means we are able to meet needs of all these people without forcing on them. Okay, you need to have to go to website, click on these buttons. They might not want to do it, and that's why being in front of customers where they are most comfortable is very important too.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you, actually for you, Adam. I wouldn't mind your opinion. I know we're going the other way now. We're going to dark territory, dangerous, where this could go. And he hasn't not prepared for this. One of the things that keeps myself awake as a CEO is the actual current infrastructure below us. We can do anything, but can the PMSs, can the CRSs, the CRMs handle AI? Like, when you think about it, you imagine AI voice and a chatbot all pinging these systems, this old infrastructure. Like, what's your view? Or, I mean, there's no right and round answer on this one. Like, I don't know. Like,
my overall view is that we're moving away from a solely PMS centric architecture to one that is more horizontal in terms of having best in breed systems that are still capable of doing a ton. So they're a combination of best in breed and all in one. And it means that we're not beholden to just this one system of record. And that allows us to be very scrupulous with how we maintain legacy systems and legacy partners. Because, if Myma or other systems are able to give so much peace of mind and so much harmonization of the data to then offer such great operational improvements, but there's another outdated system that was central that isn't keeping up. Well, nowadays, it's much easier to make that decision about doing open heart surgery and changing PMS providers, particularly if players like Myma are also have built robust integrations that allow you to flexibly and easily reconfigure with something else in Sandbox and then flip the switch, during an overnight process. So that's my overall view on it is, dare I use the term for these legacy players, but nut up or shut up, right? I use a phrase, things happen slow until they happen very fast. I think, okay, so dare I quote Stalin, but Stalin said, there are decades when nothing happens, and then there are hours when decades happen, or something of that nature. When he was describing the Bolshevik revolution, and then of course the Great Purge and all that stuff. But that's sort of where we're in right now. Is system and leaders are moving so quickly ahead of others in terms of really embracing AI and new coding techniques and new forms of structuring relational databases that it's creating this giant leap forward. And then eventually, however reluctantly, hotel decision makers will say, well, this is really holding us back. And now it's costing us millions of dollars per year. And they can point to a specific line item on their P&L for where it's costing them by not maintaining best of breed systems. So that's my view there. It's been great having you. To sort of sunset here, I'm wondering if you could look to the future. We've talked about it in general terms, but what features are you looking forward to? Either you're developing them and you can state them publicly, or things that really get you excited about the future hotel technology.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, right? Like with how things have evolved in last 2-3 years, I think hard to predict future, right? Like we didn't know there's gonna be something called Chat GPT, and I think it's not about what in the next 4 or 5 years. It's about how and how fast you can do it. Like there's gonna be an app, right? Like a mobile app mobile app will take you 1 year to build. Now you can build it in 2 days. So things are evolving so quick. So I think technology players like us need to build the infrastructure so that we can adapt quick to the needs. We need to focus on the architecture so that we can build on these things. We cannot say to a hotel, like, this will take 1 year. That's not the world. It has to be, months, weeks, and coming down to hours. So to me, speed is key, how quickly you're able to adapt new technologies and move with it. I won't predict what, but I will say it has to be really quick.
Yeah, that's a great way to finish off. So, there's so much to look forward to in hotel technology, and it's great to have leaders come on to really talk about some of the features and where it's all headed. So, Andy and David, thank you so much for coming on the show.
100%, Adam. Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Gain Momentum podcast. To stay up to date, make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about Gain Advisors, head to gainadvisors.com.